Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of organic UV layout. I'm going to do this with this T-Rex plush doll that I made a few years ago. And just to verify, its UVs are totally messed up right now. There's what they look like. It's even worse than if I hadn't messed them up on purpose. So the first thing we want to do when we're doing an organic model is we want to think, how can we cut this apart, like sort of pelting, but sort of like as if we were going to make a sewing pattern for a stuffed animal. And that works particularly well because this is kind of a stuffed animal, but it works for all things organic. Okay, so I'm going to switch into edge mode first thing, and then I'm going to select the edges that go around the leg. And with that done, I'm going to open up my UV texture editor. I'm going to open it up in a second window. So I'm going to do a 2 panels side by side. And then I'm going to, in this left side panel, I'm going to change it to the UV layout by clicking on panels. Go to panel, UV texture editor. I don't really need to be able to see in here at this point. I just like the shortcut that it gives me. So if I hold down shift and right click, I can cut edges, cut UVs. Okay, there's no result here in my view, so it would be nice to be able to see that. So I go to display, polygons, texture border edges, and now they get a little bit thicker. Well, I like it to be obvious when they're cut, so I go back to that same menu and go to edge width, and I up this to 4. And now it's very obvious that this is cut. Okay, so I need to go around the rest of my mesh, and if you've box modeled very well, then you can, a lot of this is just a double click. Shift right click, cut, do the same thing on this other side. Okay, so I've cut the arms and the legs off already. I'm going to do the same thing on the head. So I've cut those. And now I need to start cutting these in the most inconspicuous place possible, down the length of the object, kind of inside the arm there. So on the arm, for instance, I'll do this. Actually, I'm going to grab this one down here. I feel like it's a little bit more inconspicuous, because I need to be able to unroll this. Oh man, better save. Let me go up to the halfway point here. Okay, I've cut that arm. I'm going to do the same thing for the leg. I'm going to go to the inside here. And a lot of this is just experimenting. And with a little bit of experience, it'll make more sense. So let's see, maybe I can come up right here. Now if your mesh is symmetrical, and this one is, then you could do this UV layout stuff before you mirror the other side. And then your mirrored UVs will also be mirrored, and you only have to do UV layout on one half of your mesh. And that's usually a pretty smart thing to do. I'm not going to do that, but it would be pretty smart. Maybe with that in mind, I actually will go ahead and delete half this mesh. Well, I'm feeling like that's a really good idea. Let's see what I can get. Okay, I can do this better. I happen to know that this mesh is multiple pieces, so let's separate it out in a mesh. We'll separate it, and then each piece will be its own mesh. I'm going to work on just the body for now. So I use the isolate select. And I need to go back to my polygons, texture border edges, and reset this now. I'm going to go to face mode and delete half of it. Need to change. To do that, the easiest way to do this is just to change my view. I'm going to delete this half. I'm going to change back to my perspective. Okay, so there's half of my T-Rex. And the UVs are all pretty well cut. I'm going to cut the face, cut the head at the mouth. That's the most inconspicuous spot I can do it. Okay, now I'm ready to start laying this stuff out. So I'm going to switch to my UV shell mode and select UV shell one at a time. And then I'm going to do the same method that I did on the hard surface modeling for part of these. Well, maybe for all of them even. So I'm going to go to, create UV, planar mapping. I'm just going to leave this open because I'm going to use it a few times. And I need to look at my axes that I'm at right now. I'm going to use X and click apply. And then over here I'm going to move this off center. And there's that part of my dyno. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my selection mode and grab the head, do the same thing, project. Now, what I want to do though, is I need to make sure these are square. So I'm going to change the projection width and height to the same value. Let's see. And it actually would be nice to do that for both of these at the same time. But I'll just remember my value. I'm going to change this to 5. And then on my last UV poly planar projection right here, change this